everyone that's joining in. Hello. I'm just going to give it a quick minute or two just to let everyone join in because I know I had a lot of people that were excited about tonight. I'm very excited about tonight because I love to talk about love and touch on love and relationships. So I'm just going to wait a good minute for everyone to join in. Hello, everyone. And for those of you who are joining in, please make sure you have your pen and a piece of paper, not just for the exercise, but to take notes, because I'm sure all of you guys will hopefully be gaining some type of education and inspiration to start implementing in your daily lives, and for those of you who want to manifest. So thank you everyone who's joining in. Okay, awesome. Wow, I got 32 people. Wow, I'm super excited that so many people were going to join tonight. This is awesome. All right, I'll give it just one more second. So tonight's topic is touching on manifesting your soul vibration. So for everyone that's joining in, because people keep joining in, be sure that you have your pen and a piece of paper, not only for the exercise, but for note-taking as well. If you want to go ahead and grab that and make sure you have that before we begin, that would be wise of you. All right, so I have my notes, so I don't want to miss anything. So if you see me looking over here, it's just making sure that I'm following along and making sure I don't miss anything for you guys. So welcome everyone that's joining. Tonight we are, again, going to be talking about manifesting your soul vibration. The topics we'll be covering tonight are soul vibration versus soulmate. I know there's a lot of discrepancy and what's the word I want to use? This pregnancy brain is really starting to get to me, you guys. There's some discrepancies about that, so I really wanted to touch and clarify on that with all of you. We're going to be delving deeper into past relationships and how they do and are meant to shape us. How manifesting works. This is something that can be actually applicable in many aspects of our lives, but this in particular I wanted to touch on because it is a big piece of it. And the soul vibration manifestation exercise. So again, I'm very excited to talk about this with all of you tonight. If you don't have your pen and your paper, make sure you grab it before we get started, because once we get rolling, I want you to be aware and focused and present. So, again, this topic is actually applicable to those of you who are single currently, and for many of you that are in relationships, whether it's marriages, whether it's relationships that you are wanting to strengthen and grow, or maybe you're still in a place of I'm uncertain about all of this. This can all actually be applicable to those of you as well. So don't feel like it's only individualized for single people. But again, I hope you guys can all incorporate this in your life. And I will apologize in advance. Again, the pregnancy brain, if I stutter or I forget or I lose my words, I'm blaming it on that, because that's just what it is nowadays, my life nowadays. Except when I'm working. When I'm working and I'm doing mediumship and psychic work, it's like I'm out of body. But this is education, so it's not out of body. This is my normal brain. Okay, so any self-work is always going to better your life and your situation and relationship. Self-work leads us to a deeper understanding of not only ourselves, but our value and our worth. So part of this exercise is actually going to be delving a little bit deeper and doing some of that shadow work, doing a little bit of that, that deeper work that has to be done in order to meet that significant person that you are looking for. So the reason I also wanted to talk about this is because I've had several clients and friends that have spoken up about that dating. I can't even imagine what it's like today with the whole pandemic. I already know it was hard 3 years ago when I was doing the dating scene, but to add in a pandemic and isolation and all this weird stuff that's happening, dating is bizarre. I can only imagine. So that's why I felt really compelled to talk about this with all of you guys, because I know not having or feeling that you're wanting someone and not being able to acquire it can be kind of depressing in some ways. But there is a reason for it. So I want to touch and emphasize on the difference between aloneness and loneliness. There is a difference. So yeah, dating today sucked. Dating sucked 3 years ago. Dating has sucked for probably the last several years for a lot of people, because for many of us, we are being forced to move away from our traditional mentality of dating. What we grew up seeing in the movies, what our parents experienced. It's not like that today for many of us. And part of understanding the situation we're in right now is being able to let that go and allow the universe to manifest something for us in a way that it's meant to, and not in a way that we would like it to. And that takes deep work. That takes figuring out what we want and who we are in order to just like open ourselves up in our energy to let the universe take center stage and do the busy work and allow us to just grow and develop. So a little bit about my experience and my background for those of you who don't know. I now am married with the man of my dreams, my soul vibration, Mr. Ewan. I love him to death. He literally he's my soul vibration. He's my other half. He's the yin to my yang. And to be honest, before I met him, I didn't know that it was possible to have someone that was so compatible with me. I am a very particular person. I'm also a Virgo bright sun and a Pisces moon. So I know I'm a very unique person, and to be able to find someone I could build a life with that doesn't drive me nuts and that I can tolerate for long periods of time, that was like a big, here goes my brain, just a very big blessing. Ewan is a blessing. So for those of you who think that maybe life is difficult or you'll never find your soul vibration, let that go. Just let it go, because it is possible if you allow it to happen. Okay? So for a little bit about my experience too, prior to about 5 years ago, I actually left a marriage that was mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually very traumatizing, and coming out of that whole experience really left me in a place of what the fuck just happened to me, and where do I begin? I literally had to relearn how to date. I know it sounds funny, it sounds ironic. I was 25 years old living in Southern California, trying to build my career and whatnot, but I literally didn't know where to start. I was so broken down in so many ways and so lost from myself, from all the trauma I had experienced, that I didn't even know what I wanted. I didn't know what my value was. And repeatedly, because I tried to date, obviously when we're that young, we're looking for someone who we could spend the rest of our lives with, that want the same things as us, and I just couldn't meet people. It was weird. I literally thought maybe it was a Southern California thing, but I think it was just dating in a general whole in this day and age. And so I literally had to read books and go to seminars on how to present myself in a way that was gonna be respectable, that was gonna really set the tone for what I was looking for and who I was and what I wasn't going to tolerate. And again, when you're in a broken place, if you will, it's really hard to have those boundaries and those expectations and be able to strive for that, if that all makes sense. So if anything, this is a testament to all of you. I am no different than any of you guys. I literally had to start somewhere, and it was hard. But I learned the lessons, and I did the work, and I went through the steps. And that's how I really met Ewan. And you guys can all achieve that or gain that too. So at any moment through any of this, I don't want you to ever think like you're not worthy enough or you'll never find your Prince Charming. You can, again, if you do the work and you take the steps, okay? So also, if anyone has any questions, I will be designating time at the end of this to answer all of those. And if it's under an hour, I'll be able to save it and post it for you guys to later come back to. And if you missed anything or you want to review anything, it should hopefully still be saved to my page. Okay. So again, I want to really emphasize this quote: do not mistake aloneness for loneliness. I wish someone had told me that at the beginning of all of my dating career, because that would have been really powerful. It would have really helped me avoid a lot of situations where I felt alone. But the difference between aloneness and loneliness is that Aloneness allows us to return back to ourselves and discover ourselves completely without outside influences or distractions. I had so many people say, just enjoy dating. Like, dating should be fun. No, it's not fun. It is not fun trying to build a full-time career and then go meet with someone you've never met before who you don't even really enjoy their energy, their presence, their conversation. I don't know, whatever. Most nights, I'd rather just get off work and get in my pajamas and have a glass of wine. But I knew I couldn't do that because how are you going to meet someone at home in your pajamas having a glass of wine? But I wish I had understood that perspective to really analyze the situations I was going through, the opportunities I was having to have a deeper understanding of what it is I was looking for. Who am I and what do I want and what do I need? That took me a while to understand that. But if anything you take away from this, dating is not always fun. You might enjoy it. Some people do, but for me, I personally didn't. If anything, through the dating experience, don't give up. Take every opportunity, even if it's a total wash of a date, as he was really cute, or I like this about him, or just different things you can take and gain from it, because again, this is opportunity for growth. Everything is always done for us, not to us. So if you keep that in mind, it will help you and assist you along the way. Okay. I was going to add something else to that, and now I don't recall what it was. Dating sucks. And I wish someone had told me that, but whatever. So I really want to touch on the difference between a soul vibration and a soul mate. There's a lot of misconceptions about this, and this actually wasn't clarified to me until several years later when I was speaking to someone who was a mentor of mine, someone I really look up to in the psychic community. And she said, stop asking for a soulmate. And I was like, why? I want a soulmate. I want my twin flame. I want my soulmate. She said, there's a difference that people don't understand. A soulmate can take form of many different people. It can be a friend. It could be a partner. It could be a teacher. We have several soulmates throughout our lifetime, and they are teachers. They are lessons for us to learn from. Sometimes these soulmates can be karmic. We were meant to learn a lesson in a previous lifetime, which is why we are interconnected with them within this lifetime, again, to learn the lesson. But for those of you who've learned enough lessons, you don't want a soulmate. You want a soul vibration. A soul vibration is someone who is in harmony with our vibration. We are in sync with the same vibration. We grow together. It's almost like the yin and the yang. They're in perfect harmony. Now, obviously, there will be things that you just kind of have to work out on your own once you meet that person. Maybe there's just like little things that you have to grow still and understand. But when you meet that person, it should be easy. My mother always said, love happens when you least expect it. And that's exactly what happens. It's always in divine timing. But if you are not in the right space mentally and emotionally, it will be very difficult for you to understand that, witness that, or be open to it. So that is the difference between a soulmate. A soulmate is a lesson, and we can have several of them. A soul vibration is someone who we are in harmony with, someone who's very similar to us. Again, soulmates and twin flames, they tend to be someone we like have that spark, that instant fire with. We're very drawn to. Again, it's our soul beat and their divine interconnection for us to gain that awareness. We are drawn to them to some extent to learn from for our soul's evolution. So if you've learned the lessons and you're done with lessons, no more soulmates, soul vibrations. Just to clarify that for anyone who has not heard me speak about that before. So the other thing that's really important with all of this is doing the shadow work. You have to do the soul work. Working through our traumas and our lessons of previous relationships is really important because it's exactly what they are there for. We went through those lessons and those experiences for our soul's growth, for us to gain understanding and lessons and growth. If we avoid them, we disregard them, we try to pretend like they never happened because it's painful or it hurts, we don't learn the lesson. And that's why we keep calling in these soulmates that are the same lessons that the universe is trying to teach us. Okay? So that is why doing that internal work is important. How do you do that? Well, you spend some time when you've experienced it, or maybe you've experienced it in the past and you think it's actually done and over with, but there's still pieces of that relationship, those traumas, that are still energetically bogging you down, emotionally bogging you down. This person lied to you and now you're carrying over this inability to trust in every relationship because you never healed from that. Does that make sense? Hopefully. So that's why, again, you have to get yourself to the right space in order to be perceptive of any of that. Because when we are bogged down by our traumas, when we are bogged down by our ego, we are not only energetically bogged down, but we essentially create this veil of delusion where we cannot even see or witness when the universe is trying to put something in front of us because it's not in the way we thought it would be, it's not in the way we wanted it to be, or we just plain out cannot see it. So don't hesitate for doing the deep work, the shadow work. That's what it's there for. It's a piece of us. It helps us grow and understand. Okay. And also with that too, when we energetically heal, whether it's through our traumas of relationships or relationships and experiences with family, with friends, with relationships, when we are healing and we are releasing that energetic baggage, we are also raising our own personal vibration. And for any of you who are interested in manifesting, you may already know that you can only attract into your life what matches your own vibration. If you're expecting this Prince Charming, amazing human being that radiates this beautiful light, you have to meet him there. You have to meet the universe halfway by doing that work. So don't bypass it, because it's only going to give you another soulmate. Okay, so hopefully all that makes sense to you. Okay, so the exercise, and this was an exercise that was actually taught to me by one of my girlfriends, and I'd heard about it from people moving forward from my mentors and whatnot. It's a manifesting exercise. And what you're literally it's very simple, but I promise you, put your intention and your time into it, and you will continue adding to this as you date, as you grow, as you experience, because this list can go on and on. Okay? So you're going to take your piece of paper, and you're literally going to draw a line down the center of it to the best you can. Simple. And on the left top hand corner, you're going to put what I want and need in a relationship. Want and need in a relationship. And on the right top hand corner, you're going to put what I do not want and do not need. What I do not. And then you'll put a line right under that. So what I want and need in a relationship, what I do not want and do not need in a relationship. Please disregard my horrible handwriting. So some of you who practice manifestation might ask, why are we focusing on what I don't want? They say don't focus on what you don't want. Well, this is also kind of a misconception with manifesting. And the best example I can give to you, which I've given before in the past, is this. Say you want to manifest a coffee. You're at work and you want coffee so bad. And you're like, universe, God, please bring me coffee. I just want a coffee so bad. And your coworker's like, hey, I'm going to the coffee shop. I'm going to Starbucks. Can I get you something? You're like, yes, I want coffee. Bring me coffee. All I want is coffee all day. And this is the most amazing thing. This is what I want so bad. It's going to complete my life. So your coworker's like, cool, I'm going to go. So they go to the coffee shop and they pick you up a soy lavender latte. And they bring it back and they're excited to give it to you because you were wanting a coffee so bad and they knew this is what you wanted. So they give it to you. And you get it, and you're like, I can't drink soy, I'm allergic. And I didn't want lavender, I wanted coconut. Well, this is how manifesting works. If you're not specific as what you want with what you don't want, how is the universe going to know what it is you're exactly looking for? They say when it rains, it pours. It really does. You've probably experienced this. I want a relationship so bad. And then you go through the series of dating interesting individuals that are not matching up with what exactly you're looking for because you weren't specific enough. So with this particular exercise, which can be applicable to other manifesting situations as well, you do have to put, what am I looking for? That's the easiest part for the most part. But what do you not want? When you look back at the relationships you've experienced as well as moving forward, what are you picking up and recognizing that you don't want? You clearly know what they are at the time and what you're going through, but we don't always focus on that. We kind of forget about that, and then we start aiming for this, la la land, I want this, which you can have, but you have to make sure it's specific. I want a soul vibration. I do not want a soulmate. I've had enough of those. So if you're done with those, put that on what I do not want and do not need. You do want a soul vibration. You want someone who's going to be in vibrational harmony with you. I want someone who's 6 foot. I'll just describe my husband. 6 foot, brown hair, European, has an accent, X, Y, and Z. What I don't want is someone who's abusive. I don't want someone who's a narcissist. I don't want someone who has an issue with drug or alcohol. I do want someone who enjoys a glass of wine here and there, in moderation. I want someone who has healthy family structures. I want someone who wants a family and wants to get married. I don't want someone who comes from a really dysfunctional family and carries that weight still. Those are specific things that you should put on your list. With this as well, not only are you putting it energetically out into the universe, writing is a huge vibrational release. So if you're ever trying to manifest stuff, write it. Not on the computer, not on your text box. Write it down physically, because it's also getting your energetic body and your mind involved. With this as well, not only are you putting it into the universe, but you're also psychologically rewiring yourself to really acknowledge what it is you're looking for and what you're witnessing in the moment. That man is like talking about his ex-girlfriend, and that's a turnoff for me, because I clearly know he's still attached. Instead of being like, oh, maybe he's just having casual conversation with me. Now you're being able to recognize red flags that you've already experienced, and you're not disregarding them because you're more present and you're more clearly seeing, because you're also doing the deeper shadow work. You're recognizing these patterns and these behaviors and these lessons you've already gone through, and you're no longer going to tolerate because you already learned the lesson. So it's a very simple exercise. You will continue to add to this, and I encourage you to. I wrote and rewrote and added more, and my list was like so crammed. I probably have it somewhere, but it was so nicely crammed onto one page, so it was all there, and I would read it every once in a while, and as I experienced, I would add more stuff to it. So this is a continuous exercise. This isn't one night with the new moon, putting it and doing it and calling it good. No, this is you actively meeting the universe halfway to meet that person. So, a very simple exercise. And again, you can use it for other situations too, but the topic tonight is soul vibration and manifesting love. So this is a very powerful exercise. I personally wrote this, and about a year later, I met my husband. I was also slightly jaded at that point, where I was like, I know my list. I know my value because I've done the internal work. I know my worth. I'm not going to settle for anything less. And I'm going to set the bar and the tone pretty high. And whether or not you're willing to meet me there is on you. And surprisingly, he did. And I was even surprised. It still was phenomenal how easy it was. And that's what they say. Love should be easy. It should be easy if you're with the right person. Don't mistake that for still continuing your own growth in your relationship. Now, for people that are in relationships right now, doing this exercise, or even doing that self-reflection, those reflections in previous relationships and healing from those, that's not only going to either benefit your relationship now and make your relationship stronger, but those who are already in unhealthy relationships but aren't sure how to let go or what to do or scared to, this can really be a powerful exercise for you to understand, again, your value, what you're going to tolerate and settle for, and what you're no longer going to tolerate and settle for. And don't allow your boyfriend or, the hot guy that you occasionally see once a month, hold space for someone who you could be very happy with, who could be your soul vibration. That's other advice I wish I had known at the beginning of all this, because I probably would have wasted a lot less time and a lot less heartache. So with that being said, that is my live tonight with manifesting your soul vibration. So any of you who may have questions at this time, please feel free to add them into the comment box. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. Let me just scroll through and see if there was anything I missed along the way. Does asking for too much or settling unrealistic expectations come into play here? That's a wonderful question. You create your own limitations in everything, especially when manifesting and especially when being open to the universe and all its abundance. So if you feel you don't deserve this Prince Charming, who is 6'1" with blue eyes and, is fun, whatever the situation is, if you don't feel you deserve that, it's not going to come, because you're creating your own barrier, you're creating your own resistance to it. So go to town with this. I literally went to town because I was like, you know what? I deserve this. And I want it. And I put every little detail, from his height to his eye color to his family to his job to his character, who he was, how he was, those things that I knew I wanted, that I maybe have experienced or I wanted to experience. I knew those things I wanted and I deserved, so that's why I put them on what I do want and do need in my relationship. And the other things that were not the best qualities in people I had met and come across, I put those on what I do not want and do not need, because I'm not going to settle for that. Never settle for less than you deserve. And you will only settle for what less than you deserve if you don't feel worthy of those things, okay? How do we break a barrier? Exactly what I was talking about. Like, you have to do that internal work. You have to raise your vibration and in so many ways really find yourself in order to become whole and understand what you want and you deserve. So when we've been conditioned, whether intentionally or unintentionally, by our family, by our relationships, by our friends, to think we don't deserve this, or this is too good, that will create a barrier, because subconsciously you've already implemented that resistance and that restraint. So that's why you got to do the inner work, okay? What if you already made the list, found the person, but circumstances outside of your control hurt the relationship and you broke up? Will doing it again potentially bring them back? If there are reasons why you guys separated, for whatever it is, don't do the list. Make the list, do what you need to do, but be open to what there is to be. Our mind and our heart can really dictate a lot of this. You guys have been in situations probably where you're like broken in so many ways, and you meet that really hot guy that's like the badass hot guy that you're like so drawn to, but he treats you like shit. If there's reasons why it didn't work out, we have to learn from that and know that we can meet that really hot guy that's rad, super rad, and be our person, but he's not going to treat us like that, because we're not tolerating that anymore, because we don't deserve that, because we understand our value and our worth. So as far as bringing him back, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, but be open to it. Don't have your eyes set on someone that didn't work out in the first place. For those currently in relationships, should we manifest in a particular way, like using their name and their list, etc.? You could. With being in a relationship now, the more important part is like writing that list and really focusing on like what do you want and need in a relationship, and then doing that internal work, because that's only then will you recognize, like, is this what I deserve? Is this making me a better person? Am I also growing and healing from my wounds to lessen the friction that is already there in a relationship? It's like a make it or break it, really. So you kind of have to trust it. And again, you have to do the work and continue to do the work. Personal development is amazing. Everyone, I strongly encourage that in every way, emotionally, mentally, physically, energetically. Did your husband meet everything you put on your list? I made this list and have been involved with people who almost met everything on my list, but it didn't work out. Yes, he matched my list for T. And I actually met my husband through Bumble, and it was for sure divine intervention because the situation was bizarre. And on Bumble, I was literally so done with online dating because I didn't enjoy it in the first place, but I kept doing it because I felt like I needed to, because that's in so many ways how we date nowadays. And it just happened like that. We literally met and we felt very mutually, even though, and this is the other thing about dating that I think is very weird, and with women in particular, for some reason we feel uncomfortable with being upfront and honest, not just with others but with ourselves. What do we need and what do we want, and then reflecting that out. When I met Ewan, my husband, I was very upfront. I wanted this. I'm doing this. I want to have 2 children. I want to name one River and one Hara. I think I told him that on the first date. I said I want to get married. I want to do these things in a graceful way, but I was upfront about it because at that point I was like, get on the ship or don't, because I don't have time to waste with someone who's gonna dick around, for a lack of words. And luckily my husband was like, oh, she knows what she wants, and I need to know what I want, and I really like her, so I'm gonna step up my game. Because I got so tired of playing this cat and mouse game where it's like, does he like me? Is he gonna do this? Am I gonna be waiting for his call? No. This is what I want. This is the tone I'm setting for myself and my worth and my value, and whether or not you're ready to meet me halfway and respect that is on you. That's not on me. I'm not gonna be upset if you don't jump on this boat, but the ship is sailing, so figure it out. So I hope that answered your questions. And yes, in so many ways he did meet that list in so many ways, and even continues to develop and impress me. But we've also gotten to grow a lot together too, and that was something I put on my list. I want someone who's going to inspire me. I want someone who is going to be a part of my growth and help me be a better person. And that's exactly what's come from my relationship with him. Do I believe in love territory where we are most likely to meet our soul vibration? I'm not sure what love territory is, so I'm not sure. I've never heard that terminology before, so I can't quite speak on it. Is it possible to do ego shadow work for my person? I know to meet him and I need to do my own, but to meet faster? No, you can't. We all have free will, and we don't have a right to interfere with someone else's free will. So we definitely have to respect that with that person's journey and their own path and lessons that they are karmically contracted in learning and growing from for their own soul's evolution. So focus on yourself. After you made your list, what was the next steps you took to manifest those qualities you wanted? Again, I kept working on myself. I kept really finding myself and understanding what it is I wanted and needed. I was doing continual healing because I'd been through a lot of shit, just like many of you probably have experienced. I was ending ancestral cycles too through my own healing, witnessing what my mother went through, witnessing what my father went through, and recognizing what I did not want for myself or my family or my future. So that work is always going to be continual. Even after the fact, we are always continuously growing and healing and evolving. So that work does not stop. It should be progressive and it should be intentional. So keep adding to your list, keep experiencing life, keep doing the work, keep healing and continuing. Because again, if you're not in the right space, either that man could or that woman could be right in front of you and you wouldn't recognize them or witness them because you're too focused on these other things. Do past life connections usually work out on this earth plane? I mean, I believe that is totally possible. I do believe that we have karmic cycles with people in past lifetimes that we will experience within this lifetime, whether it's a lesson, whether that's our soul vibration. They can definitely be carried over into this lifetime. I am a huge believer in past life. Questions about past life connections. Yeah, so again, like karmically, we could have a soulmate that we maybe didn't learn the lesson from in a previous lifetime that we met within this lifetime. It's probably someone we're going to be very attracted to, drawn to, and there is definitely a lesson in that situation, because there's a saying, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like the quickest flame is the quickest to burn out, or something like that. Like, you've had those situations where you like meet someone and you're like, like my world is being rocked right now, and then you guys fight, or he doesn't talk to you, or he's like an asshole, or she's an asshole, whatever the situation is, excuse my French, and you're like trying to navigate, like, I don't understand, I felt this way, now I'm feeling this, like, what's happening? This is a lesson. This is a opportunity to grow and heal from, because you didn't learn the lesson in the last lifetime. And they probably didn't either. How do you know you met your twin flame? So from my understanding, and this is all from my own experience and from my own understanding in my own education and connections and awareness, a soulmate and a twin flame are the same thing. You can have several of them, and they are, again, those instant sparks that we're just like so attracted to, but they're the most difficult, challenging people. Even though it feels like amazing sparks flying, at the same time, we have those downfalls or those situations that are really rough. So why I talked about soul vibration today, and why I wanted to educate and explain that misconception, was to understand the difference between the two. Any other questions? All right, everyone. I really do hope you enjoyed this live tonight. I hope you all gained something from it. Above everything, don't undervalue yourself. Don't create limitations that don't need to be there. And make sure you do the work. Meet the universe halfway. Meet your higher self that way. Commit to your higher self and do the work that needs to be done in order for you to connect with that person you deserve. We all deserve love. We all deserve that connection with that one person that just ultimately gets us. That is our reflection in so many ways. And so I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you benefit from this. And for any of you who do this list and something magical comes out of it, like, I want to hear about it. So definitely reach out. So, and for those of you who joined late or missed anything, because I was under an hour, I'll be able to save it. So I will be reposting it for any of you who would like to rewatch it or touch back on it, if they needed any continual advice or knowledge or missed anything I said. So thank you all for joining me tonight, and I wish you all the love and light on your path. Have a good night.